like a lot of people would say he didn't, but Steve Young and Fran Tarkenton, Warren Moon could run a little bit. There were guys who could run, man. So like this idea that they couldn't run. So at this point, it's just we do it more, and there's more of a dual threat. So I feel like it's what Kevin Williams just said. He just can't admit that he made the wrong choice, and he doesn't like Lamar Jackson for whatever reason. Yeah, he wanted exactly right here. He wanted to draft Lamar Jackson as a wide receiver. He doesn't have faith in him. He probably sees him as like a Mitchell Trubisky with better stats, and I don't think it has to do with his race. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know Bill Polian personally. I just think that it has to do with being stubborn. Like I don't like the way he plays, therefore he's not good. It's like, dude, just look at the stats. Like you're ridiculous at this point. So I do find it interesting though. Bill Polian showing up to the NFL. I do kind of agree. Like you could definitely you could definitely argue that after that you don't really deserve your all-pro voting, because Jim Miller and the other guy, they're not. I mean, I don't think just because you don't vote for someone that you, because look at Russell Wilson's stats. He had a pretty good season too, but I don't think just because you don't vote for a certain person that you should lose your privileges to be a voter. But at the same time, I think this is multiple times that he's been kind of, people are like, what are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about. This isn't the first time that Bill Polian has been questionable in this case. So he was 11-5 this year with 31 touchdowns and 5 interceptions with the same yards and probably half the rushing yards. So I think that's a little bit ridiculous, in my opinion, that you voted for Russell Wilson over Lamar Jackson. If this were week 8, you'd have an argument. But since week 8, Lamar Jackson has been the best player in football. There's no question. And I feel like you have some sort of foreign agenda, whether it be professional agenda, because that's what I think. I think he doesn't want to admit he's wrong. That's what I think it is. I don't think it has to do with race or racism. I think it has to do with he does not want to admit he's wrong. And we see that a lot in sports, especially. We got a lot of testosterone, bullheaded people who are just like, nope, I'm right. I don't care what you have to say. And it has nothing to do with I don't think it does. At least it wouldn't make sense to me. You have to prove that one to me. You have to prove more. Give me more evidence. Anyway, let's see what people are saying about it. So it says 47. Also, what about Jim Miller? Everyone's making a big deal about Bill Polian because he's the most famous. What about Jim Miller and all these other guys? It's not like he was 49 out of 50. You know what I mean? And not only that, Wilson did have a good year. If he didn't have a good year, that'd be one thing. Wilson had a good year. It's just, I think that if you ask the regular fan, like let's say you just grab 50 fans off the street and you ask them, who's the MVP? I guarantee you 50, okay, at least 95 out of 100, right, are going to say Lamar Jackson, maybe even 97 out of 100. So the idea that 3 of the voters didn't give it to Lamar Jackson is kind of questionable, and it's just like, well, what do you have against him? Like at this point, he's done so many things. He's broken records, for God's sake. Well, like, what does he need to do for you? But I get all the questions. I get the question. We got 3,000 tweets. Hashtag Bill Polian right now. That's why I started this video, because I saw him trending for that reason. And let's see what they have to say. So, Bill Polian watching Lamar Jackson every week. That is more accurate, I think. I think that he really just doesn't want to believe that Lamar Jackson is a legitimate quarterback. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the evaluation that he wrote that was negative towards him at the very beginning. That's the most thing. So outing all pro voters is a thing so stupid. Do they out Hall of Fame voters? I mean, well, yeah. Why would it be? Why not? I don't understand what the problem with quote unquote outing someone. Like if you have it really big, I thought it was Jim Miller. Was it Jake Miller? Okay, that's not the person I'm thinking of. The guy in the Bears is Jim Miller, so never mind. But regardless, what's up, Karam? Regardless about this, I don't think this has, like it says, can we ask how many great, it's just all craziness. But this guy says, what about outing all outing Pro Bowl voters? That's a big deal. Why is that a big deal? If you have a vote and you're voting for something, that's a big deal. It affects a lot of people. Same with Hall of Fame. Like if you outed Hall of Fame voters and say, well, he didn't vote for this person. Well, why didn't he vote for him? Is it some sort of personal thing, or is it based on this or that? Like when Terrell Owens was not getting voted in the Hall of Fame for like the first, I think it took him 3 years. It probably should have only taken 2. But after the second time, I totally understand people who are like, well, why didn't you give it to him? Like, what do you have against this guy? Did he do something to you personally? Did he say something to you personally? At some point, you have to look at the stats. And you have to look at how dominant they were. You can't just get personal with all of this bullshit. So you just have to look at the stats. Lamar Jackson's broken records. Lamar Jackson's the most efficient. He's the best player in the league right now. I would argue Patrick Mahomes is a close second. But that's not even what we're arguing. We're arguing about Russell Wilson. And he didn't even put up those numbers. He's not even in the conversation for numbers. So I do think that he fucked up the vote. I don't think it was some sort of racial attack. I think that Bill Polian is just an old school type of quarterback, type of player, and he don't like being proven wrong, which is stupid too. But anyway, dilly, I will see you guys at Rum Boys After Dark. Make sure to check out Rum Boys After Dark every Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, 7 Mountain Time, and 6 Pacific. Cheers.